Arkansas and Texas Tech get set to do battle down in Memphis, Tennessee in the Liberty Bowl. We are here previewing, predicting, and breaking down this game between the Razorbacks and the Red Raiders. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips. He's Dave Shumate. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast, wherever you get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. This segment brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com, use promo code SECU and sign up to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 or more lineup. That's prizepicks.com, promo code SECU to get your $50 bonus today. The Arkansas Razorbacks and Texas Tech Red Raiders get set to do battle in the Liberty Bowl. We are here previewing, predicting, and breaking down this game. I am Chris Phillips, and helping me do so, my good friend Dave Shumate joins me once again. Dave, what's going on, my man? Appreciate you taking the time and excited to break down this Liberty Bowl matchup with you.
Yeah, I feel like the Liberty Bowl at times screams Arkansas for whatever reason. Was it 2 years ago? Was it the overtime game they had against Kansas? They came back and won. So usually wild things happen in this game when Arkansas's in there. I even feel like back when Brett Bielema was there, they went there a couple times. So it was I guess a decent setting there, talking to some people from Arkansas. They're fired up about the trip, getting back to Memphis. Texas Tech, I think, is going to be real motivated, trying to win this game, get a win against an SEC team, Joey McGuire and them in his second year? Yeah, in Lubbock. So I think they'll be pretty fired up about this. So I'm fired up about it. Arkansas has lost a lot of guys in the portal. So how they're too deep is really going to have to step up here for the Razorbacks to take home that Liberty Bowl trophy back to Fayetteville.
Yeah, on that note, Dave, I was going to say one of the better trophies, I think, in bowl season. You've got the actual Liberty Bell. It's a pretty cool trophy. It's a unique trophy. So again, they'll be battling for that Friday, December the 27th, 6 p.m. Central Time kickoff on ESPN. Again, this game, of course, being played, as we mentioned, in Memphis, Tennessee at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Arkansas is a 1-point favorite, Dave, in this football game. The over-under is set at 56.5. Arkansas leads the all-time series 29-8. And the last meeting, all the way back in 2015, Texas Tech won that game by a final score of 35-24. Dave, as I look at this game, you tell me what you think, because we say all the time styles make fights. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. I do. You look at Texas Tech offensively, they've had no trouble putting up points this season. They've got a fantastic quarterback, running game as well. Again, the kid Morton, Baron Morton, has done a really good job for them under center. Again, you look at their running game. Taj Brooks has run for over 1,500 yards in this season. And Arkansas as well, Bobby Petrino has done a really good job. Taylen Green, we now know, is going to be back in 2025. This serves as kind of a momentum-building opportunity for him. But that matchup with Bobby Petrino, Zach Kittley, the offensive coordinator there in Lubbock, I'm expecting points in this game. What say you?
Kittley's out. He's the new head coach at FAU.
So that is right. Kittley is out.
They'll have a new interim head coach because I did the grading of Micah Hudson, who obviously just went to Texas A&M as well. So those will be two kind of offensive guys, a coach and a big-time player. And Micah Hudson, again, I say big. The production was a big time, but the ability's there. And then obviously you lose your offensive coordinator, so you're going to have an interim, but pretty similar. They run status quo offense, the pretty simplistic offense over there that is productive. But no, you're right. I mean, their three biggest wins of the season, or three biggest games, I would say, were the three biggest tests: Colorado, Iowa State, and Arizona State across the board there. But good year for Texas Tech across the board there. Again, the Red Raiders coming in at 8-4. So I don't know if I'd say the momentum or motivation's a little bit on their side, but they are coming off 2 straight wins against Oklahoma State and West Virginia, where Arkansas feels like they're reeling a little bit. And I do think, I say that. Who do you think out of these two teams right now, CP, probably is the best win of the season? Probably Arkansas against Tennessee.
Yeah, I think it's got to be. I think it's got to be Arkansas's win over Tennessee. Tennessee being in the college ball playoff. You mentioned too the way Texas Tech closed the season, dropped 50+ on the heads of Oklahoma State and West Virginia.
And let's say too, both these teams have wins over playoff teams. They beat Arizona State early in the year.
They did. Yeah. That 30-22 win back on September the 21st.
And that was kind of before Arizona State kind of really got rocked.
Got it rolling, yeah.
Still, nonetheless, a win.
Yeah, a win's a win. Again, a big win for sure. That is an interesting fact. Both these teams, they win over college football playoff participants, if you will. Again, big game for Travis Williams, I feel like, too, Dave. Again, what is his game plan against, like I mentioned, that Texas Tech offense? And, on the Arkansas side, you mentioned, dude, who's available? This is one of those bowl games we talked about. The transfer portal hits everybody. Some more than others, though. I mean, you mentioned the offensive line. It's at this point, you're kind of looking around like who is available. I mean, that's the big question for Arkansas is, and how much changes do we have? Listen, we've at the time of us talking about this game, we've got 10 more days, right? So more guys can hit the portal. You never know in this day and age of college football who's going to be ready to go. But I think the question is, Dave, can Arkansas win with a shorthanded roster? And then you mentioned motivation factor too. And, we talked about this with the news that Sam Pittman's going to come back next year. And again, Taylen Green is back, which I think is a big positive. But where is Arkansas as a program right now? Just from how fired up are they for this game? You know what I mean? Because I know how the fan base feels. The fan base feels very much lost in the wilderness. Just kind of apathy is starting to set in with the program. Let's just call it for what it is, right? Like Arkansas fans are very, very loud, proud fans. But I mean, I even felt it there being in Fayetteville earlier this season for that Tennessee game, Dave, where the tailgate felt very subdued and like they were still excited, but they were just kind of like, yeah, I mean, we're just kind of here, we'll see what happens. We're expecting the worst, hoping for the best. That's just kind of how Arkansas is right now. So I just, I wonder how fired up, excited they are. I wonder how many Hogs fans are going to travel to Memphis. It's not too far from them, but
it's right there from the line. I mean, you're not far from Jonesboro. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I'll be curious what the crowd is like, but I mean, heck, from a personnel standpoint, man, it's a kind of a makeshift Arkansas team going in this one.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some Razorback fans that make the day trip over, which be expected. I mean, it's a loyal fan base, the only team in the flagship university in the state of Arkansas, the old natural state. But you're right, Chris. Like, you talk to Arkansas fans, and it's kind of just like they don't totally hate Sam Pittman, but I think they're just like, we know he's not the future, the guy to ride us into this new era of college football. So it's kind of like they're sitting in purgatory. Is that like
I mean, Dave, when you have to start, we mentioned this over the offseason, when you have to start the conversation with, I mean, man, he's a great fit. He's a great guy. Like when you got to start it with that, it's typically not a good sign.
Yeah. And again, I think he's pretty comfortable in his ways. And I also think some of it's an administration standpoint. They're not willing to invest money that these other teams that they have to compete against in the SEC are. Talking to a buddy who's close to the program recently, said they were probably just going to give the bare minimum, maybe the 15 to 17 million that they can offer up to 20 million with the revenue share. They're not even going to go the full 20. And we know they have the money. I mean, they got J.B. Hunt, obviously Walmart, Jerry Jones, Tyson Chicken, John Calipari already tapped into that before Sam Pittman could. And Sam Pittman's been there 3 to 4 years longer than Cal has. So it's like they have money. It's just like they're not allocating it in athletics right now, and it's specifically football. I'm sure they are in baseball for Dave Van Horn and for Cal, like I mentioned, but like football. But I think some of it is there's just not a lot of juice around Sam Pittman, right, wrong, or indifferent. Again, I don't think it's, as you can attest, Chris, it's not terrible. They're not bleeding out over there. It's not like, oh, my God, this is Chad Morris level where we hadn't won a conference game in 2 years. We mentioned they got to win over a college football playoff team this year. It's not all bad. It's just, I feel like if I was a South Carolina, if I was an Arkansas fan, I'd be a little bit, like I was saying earlier, I don't dislike Sam Pittman, but I just don't know in this new era of college football, like you can't just tell everyone no and like your whole roster. I mean, they've lost 4 to 5 starters off the line. Luke has. He doesn't have the production. He was asking for double. But at some point, you do got to kind of keep your guy around. I think they're paying Taylen Green about 1.1, but that's a lot of the money they're investing in the quarterback. And you have to. Most teams invest about 15% of that in their quarterback. But I don't know. They have money as the alum. It's just they're not investing it because I just don't think they're real fired up. And I hate talking about this. We're previewing a Liberty Bowl for them, and we're talking about maybe he's not the right guy, but I'm with you. I mean, talk to people close to the program. They're not real fired up. They get to 6, and I don't know if 6 keeps his job next year because what are we just going to keep doing this revolving circle where it's like we're a 500 team, folks? Like, no, they expect more than that. I just don't know if Arkansas fans can define exactly what they want. I'd be fired up if some fans in this video commented and said, hey, what is a realistic expectation for Arkansas football in modern day college football? I mean, I think realistically, you should be anywhere between 6 to 9 wins every year. I'd love to hear if Arkansas fans agree with me on that.
Yeah, I think making a bowl game at minimum is that should be the minimum expectation, no doubt, on a year in, year out basis. And talking with folks there, I know you have as well, Dave. Like I think they believe that too. I think it's just more so about, at some point you just kind of see the same thing over and over and over again. And insanity is the definition of it, is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And I feel like, that's what's kind of leading to this subdued nature. The apathy is you just feel like you know what to expect from Arkansas under Sam Pittman time and time again. And so we know going into this game, Dave, for example, Arkansas, as we've said all year, very dangerous team. I could absolutely see Arkansas breaking through, winning this football game, throwing up a 40 spot, whatever it takes. I could also see them coming out, being flat, laying an egg. I will say the one thing, Dave, as we dive into our predictions and our picks for this game, and I'll let you start. I think this is going to be a wacky game, though. I just think this is going to be one. A lot of bowl games are this way because, again, you've got different guys stepping up, and when you put different people in different situations, you get different outcomes. But when you look at this game, Dave, again, I'll let you start with your pick, your prediction for this one. Arkansas, Texas Tech, Liberty Bowl. Again, there's a lot to like about both these teams. There's things you can pick apart about both as well. Who do you see getting the W, Razorbacks or Red Raiders there in Memphis?
Yeah, I think this kind of comes down to two things here. What do you think is more important? Arkansas losing potential 4 to 5 starters in the offensive line. 11 guys have entered the transfer portal. We know about like Isaiah Satigna, Isaac Tesla, a couple of those other guys. Or do you think that's a bigger deal than Zach Whitley leaving to go be the head coach at FAU, Texas Tech having to operate with an interim OC, and then losing Micah Hudson, who has all the ability in the world but wasn't overly productive? I think it's going to be tougher for Arkansas to replace that up front to protect Taylen Green. Again, lost some of his weapons. Luke has as well. I don't know. Arkansas already struggled up front even with those guys, much less with them behind. I don't know. I think Eric Mateos, the offensive line coach, has a real task at hand. I'm gonna go Texas Tech here in a little bit of a high scoring affair, like you said. Give me 34-28. Texas Tech. I could see this game being a little wacky, like you said. Someone maybe jumping out quick, getting up 14, 13-0, or maybe 17-0. We have a big comeback at the end. I know I'm kind of replicating what Arkansas did against Kansas 2 years ago in this exact bowl game in Memphis. But you're right. This game kind of has a wacky feel because both these teams are very high and low. You got both have wins over playoff teams. Then both have some games. Both teams have some some losses that you're kind of like, man, you gave up 59 points to Baylor. It's like. And again, I mean, you look at Texas Tech, there's not bad losses. They lost to Washington State, Baylor, which is probably their worst, than TCU is an under-the-radar 8-4 team, and then Colorado. It's not bad, but, man, in some of these losses, they've given up a lot of points. So I think that's an opportunity for Bobby Petrino and Taylen Green to take advantage of. But I think Texas Tech has less question marks coming in here, and that's wild to say with them having an interim OC. It's just so many portal additions for Arkansas. And so many guys just leaving the program right now. So I got to go with Texas Tech in this one.
Yeah, Dave, to your point, just looking at Texas Tech schedules, they've had a lot of higher scoring affairs, even going back to week 1. I don't know how I forgot this game or whatever. They beat Abilene Christian in week 1, 52-51 in overtime. I don't know if I just forgot about that game. I'm trying to think back. Like, did I see the highlights of that one? But yeah, that's one of the more interesting results, 52-51 in OT. Yeah, again, back to what you said, Dave. I think it's a wacky kind of off-the-wall sort of game. This will be one of, again, another just fun, random bowl game matchup as you're sitting there a few days after Christmas playing with your new toys or devices or whatever you're doing, and you're just hanging out, and you're like, oh, yeah, Arkansas, Texas Tech is on. Let's watch this game, no doubt. That being said, I agree with you. I think Texas Tech will outlast Arkansas. I got the Red Raiders in this game. Give me Texas Tech 38, Arkansas 30. Love the over in the game. I love the Red Raiders in this game. I think it's interesting. Arkansas's favored. I think it's really interesting. They're still favored. I lean Texas Tech in this one, and I honestly feel pretty good about it. Again, I'll be curious what the crowd is like for both sides. But again, I'm expecting offense. Again, the over has been good in pretty much every Texas Tech game. I think it is in this one, and I think they will beat the Hogs 38-30 there in Memphis. So, guys, what do you think? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? How do you see this one playing out when Arkansas and Texas Tech do battle in Memphis in the Liberty Bowl? Guys, that's going to do all for us. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, turn notifications. Check us out via podcast, where you get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. For Dave Shumate, I'm Chris Phillips. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we will catch you on the other side.